What's up guys? Today we're going to check out Transformers Rise of the Beasts on 4K. I'm not going to get into how good or bad the movie is, I'm just going to share some of my thoughts on the audio and video quality. Now let's go over a few tech specs. The movie was shot in 4.5K. It's got a 4K DI. It's rated PG-13. Runtime is 127 minutes. Aspect ratio is 239:1, so there are black letterbox bars, and the audio is in Dolby Atmos. Before we take a look at the audio and see how active this mix is, if you don't know what the Atmos viewer is, you can find a link in this video's description that tells you all about it, as well as all the gear that I use for these 4K reviews. Just like every Transformers movie before this one, it's got some of the coolest sounding intros that's got a ton of surround effects. Not only do you get that transformation sound in the first few seconds, but the battle with Scourge and the Maximals will light up every one of your speakers. It's also really dynamic with a lot of movement. Another thing is when Unicron is on screen, his voice comes through all the speakers, both the lower channels and the height channels, to give you this deep, immersive feel.
Don't, Prime. I can give you everything you want.
The quieter parts, just like the action parts, also fill in all the channels for the most part. So there's always some ambiance or music that's playing through all your speakers. And if you're a fan of 90s rap, it's got a ton of good songs in this. Now, unlike the start of the movie, which was really dynamic, most of the other action scenes remain static with a few dynamic objects here and there. That's not to say that this mix isn't any good, because it is one of the most aggressive Atmos mixes that I've heard this year. And the bass, while it didn't dig super low, can hit like a freight train coming through your house. Footsteps and explosions have a ton of chest-bumping kick. The only real negative about the audio mix is that it is considerably lower than most other digital streams that I've watched this year. Normally I'm raising the volume about 6 dB to be able to hear anything, but with this I had to raise it about 15 dB and sometimes more, so hopefully the 4K disc won't have the same issue. If you're new to the channel and you're in a home theater or want to keep up with the latest in audio and video gear, tap the subscribe button for new weekly videos. And I'd also like to thank all of my Patreon and YouTube member subscribers for supporting this channel and making this purchase of Transformers Rise of the Beasts possible on iTunes, so I can bring you, the home theater movie loving community, this 4K review. If you want to join Patreon or the YouTube membership, you can find links down below in this video's description. For video quality, this is a clean 4K crispy transfer. There's no added digital grain to soften the image or anything done to make it look like film. So if you like that straight out of the camera digital appearance, you're gonna love the way this movie looks. The one downside with it being so sharp and detailed is that it is easy to tell how fake the Transformers can look when they try to blend live action with the CG. But when it's all CG, it looks really good. There's tons of detail that make up all the Transformers, with everything rendered impeccably clean. They look just as detailed as they did in the previous movies. As for the HDR, it's got a max CLL of 1705 and a max FALL of 399. The overall image isn't super bright, but it's not dim either. It's got a natural look and color palette with nicely saturated primaries. Greens, blues, and reds have excellent vibrancy without going overboard. The specular highlights also have excellent sparkle from all the reflective surfaces, and you can even squint from all the explosions, lasers, and a ton of other things that light up. Black levels look great and really enhance contrast levels to elevate the image depth and layer separation without crushing any details. It's an overall great looking digital transfer that's super detailed, 4K crispy and clean with some fantastic HDR. I'm sure the 4K disc is going to tighten the image up a bit more, but if you don't like having plastic discs, it's a great looking stream that I think is worthy of a 9.6. For audio, this is one busy active Atmos mix. It's got a ton of surround usage coming at you in every direction, and the bass has some impressive kick. But like I said earlier, it's unnaturally low in volume and the dynamics take a pretty big hit for it. Maybe this is just a fluke with this particular title and it's not a sign of things to come, and hopefully it doesn't find its way to the physical disc. It's a shame because it could have been demo worthy. I'm gonna have to give it a 7.9. So what are your thoughts on Transformers Rise of the Beasts on 4K? Have you had any issues with the audio mix, and do you think it's one of the best in the franchise? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Now, if you want to pick up this movie, I'll leave some links for it down below in this video's description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us on social media, and if you'd like to support the channel, get exclusive content, or great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by our Patreon page. Be sure to like this video if you found it useful, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again in the next video.